Hello, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, excited to bring you a wonderful event coming up this September the 24th. In the studio with me is Cheryl Hughes, Laurie Lane, and Kim Briggeman. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it. Now, this event, people are going to want to know the who, what, where, and when. Does anyone want to offer that of the group?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
The Who, of course, this whole thing originated with the Bonner Milltown History Center and Museum. And of course, you never can organize something on your own. You need lots of friends to come along for the ride. And so we've involved, of course, to begin with, the Kettlehouse Tap Room, and they've offered their location for us for that beautiful day. In addition, we found some other partners along the way. Humanities Montana is bringing us our music that day with Bill Rossiter from Kalispell. He's a well-known folklorist who will do a lot of folk songs about the river. We've also invited West Slope Cutthroat. Is that right?
West Slope Trout chapter of Trout Unlimited. So we're a chapter. We're the Missoula chapter.
Missoula chapter of Trout Unlimited. And Laurie is here today with us, and she's done an incredible job of helping us organize and promote this piece. She has great artistic ability, and it has been nothing but a pleasure to have her work with us and become a friend of ours as we do this project. In addition, we have a native elder who will gather with us, and that is Myrna Dumontier, and she is the daughter of Louis Adams, who's a well-known Salish elder who is now passed, but she's carrying her father's torch, and she will explain to us the Salish life along these two rivers and the history involved in the Salish presence here on the river, and of course John Maclean, who was our guest of honor that day. And John will speak to us about his father's book, A River Runs Through It, and as well he will speak to us about his recently published book, 2021 it was published, called Home Waters. It's the backstory of A River Runs Through It. John's, of course, a close friend of ours, and Kim will talk a little bit about his friendship with the Bonner Museum and how it came to be that John said, yes, I'll come and talk for this event.
Great. Thanks, Kim.
Well, yeah, John, I think, has been aware. Of course, he lives in Washington, D.C., comes out to the family cabin in Sealy Lake every summer and fall. And so this is in coordination with his return this fall, although he didn't come this summer.
Right.
for family reasons. But he has, I think he's been aware of our Bonner Milltown History Center for quite some time, but the direct connection really came after he published Home Waters, and all of our members and kind of the outfling of a group that we call the Old Roads group that meets at the History Center in Bonner. Everybody got excited about the book because we are the type of people that like to follow old roads.
Right.
And John's one section of the book talks about Meriwether Lewis, and his trip up the Blackfoot River in 1806. And so we decided, a few friends and I decided we'd go find some of these places that John talked about in the book. And as we started up the river, it dawned on me that maybe John would be a good guide for us.
Yeah.
So I called him at his home in Washington, D.C. We were just about out of cell coverage, and he answered, and we turned around and kind of quizzed him on where we should go look for what we call the Lewis lunch site, where Lewis and his men stopped to eat lunch on July 4th, 1806, and up in 9 Mile Prairie area. And he talked too about a couple of piles of rocks that are near that site. And so we wanted to go find those.
And were you able to on his advice?
We were.
Oh.
He pretty much directed us right to it. He said, I sure wish I could be there.
Right.
And then later on, in coordination with John over the phone, we met up there again with archaeologists to look at these rock piles and kind of get an idea of what they might be, because it was pretty open-ended in the way John left it in the book. So,
Yeah.
and we sent him our report, and he was very excited about what we came up with. And
Oh, that's great.
so I think that's sort of what led him to his offer to do this talk on the banks of the Blackfoot River.
He said to me that he wanted to find a way to return all the fun information and the spirit from the Roadies group. And,
I
and
see.
in fact, you're going to do another tour potentially when John's out in September. And the Cowboy Trail, do you want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, we haven't quite put that together, but John is interested in tracing a route that the road to the Buffalo, essentially,
Wow.
that Meriwether Lewis followed in the Bonner area.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, I want to remind the viewers that we're here sort of surrounding our talk along an event that's being put on by the Bonner Milltown History Center and Museum in conjunction with the West Slope chapter of Trout Unlimited. It's going to be on September the 24th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Bonner Kettlehouse Brewery. Now, let's say nobody's ever been up there and they're watching. Could you describe to them what it's like? The Bonner Kettlehouse Brewery.
Well, I defer to Kim on that. Kim spent a lot more time
At the brewery?
I have, but
I mean, it's pleasant grounds. You mentioned you're going to be on the lawn for the 3 hours.
Yeah,
very important, bring your lawn chairs.
Oh, yeah. I saw that right here on the poster. Bring your own lawn chairs. It is free admission. A $5 donation would be appreciated. And there's stuff to buy, food and drink.
And that $5 is $5 per family. We want this to be a family event where people bring their kids. The Trout Unlimited group is going to teach kids how to cast a rod.
Oh, that's
We're
very
going to
fun.
have-
Oh, people pay big money to do that for
Yes.
summer camp, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Well,
really nice.
you know, kids, women, men, anybody who wants to try fly casting, maybe they're a spin fisher, but you know,
Yeah.
our goal always, if you're going to catch and release, let's do it in a manner that's really safe for the fish. So it will be fun to teach the kids. It's really cute to watch them learn how to do that.
Now, do you have an expectation of the number of people? Like, there's tickets aren't required. You could just show up, right?
Yeah.
No, and I can't say how many people might come. We're hoping for a big crowd.
Okay.
And we're hoping that people will share this information with one another. We've posted it in many places up and down both valleys, on either side of Missoula, up the Flathead, up Sealy, and I think Kim took it up to Helmville and parts thereof the other day when we went to the rodeo.
Yeah.
So we're hoping we have friends from everywhere.
Yeah.
I think there's probably room with everybody bring lawn chairs for upwards of 200 people.
Yeah.
Maybe more out on the lawn on both wings there at the tap room, both of which flank the river itself. Which,
Oh, so we just pray for good weather, right?
Oh.
And it's going to be. As
be
you
great.
just say it now, it's going to be a beautiful day.
Beautiful fall day on the river.
I'm going to hold up the poster. I don't know, Scott, if you want to get up and zoom a little, because we've mentioned a number of things. Like, often people want to take away the who, what, and where. So September 24th, 1 to 4 p.m., the where is the Bonner Kettlehouse Brewery. And to get there, people go to Bonner, right? You go on Highway 200 like you're going to Great Falls, see? And then once you get past the old, the mill, you'll look for the turn off to the left, right?
That's
And correct.
Where-
Towards the river.
Where you go to the, where you
And
go
your
to the
signage is
amphitheater.
going to be great. I already see the balloons and ribbons and all kinds of to-doing. This event will feature 2 main speakers, right? And the first will Salish Elder Myrna Dumontier. Is that correct?
Dumontier, that's correct.
And also John N. Maclean. Many people remember that movie with Brad Pitt, A River Runs Through It, which was a novel written by his father, Norman Maclean. So John Maclean, did he and does he have a career in the Forest Service and lives in D.C.?
He is retired from the Chicago Tribune. He was an editor for many years and was based in D.C.
Yeah.
About 30, 40 years ago, he started writing books about fire as an offshoot of Young Men in Fire, which he and his sister finished for their father, Norman Maclean. And he has a tremendous interest in forests and fire and wildfire, and a great reputation in that field. His most recent book was published in 2021, which is called Home Waters, and it's the backstory of A River Runs Through It.
Right. So, dear viewer, this is an opportunity to see two great presenters, the Salish Elder Myrna Dumontier, the author, John Maclean, and you can do all this with a whole family for $5 suggested donation. But you're going to want to bring credit, debit, or cash to buy some wonderful beer, right? And featured on the poster, Feast on Ellen Big Sam's Chili and Fry Bread. And this all happens between 1 and 4 on September 24th, coming up.
Joel, can I add one thing?
You may.
John is going to talk about 3 different books. Those books are, of course, A River Runs Through It, and how it relates to his book, Home Waters, but his most recent project is he was asked by HarperCollins to do the foreword to the 100th anniversary edition of Big Two-Hearted River by Ernest Hemingway. And he's going to talk about the relativity between the 2 or the 3 of them and how they relate to our respect, reverence, and love of our 2 big-hearted rivers.
That's
the Clark
very
Fork
nice.
and the Bitter.
Blackfoot.
The Blackfoot. Sorry.
Yeah, the Blackfoot.
Well, the Bitter
And when
too.
we say the Little Blackfoot, I don't know that we should wrap up, but remember the Little Blackfoot was in the movie A River Runs Through It. And I always thought, what's the Big Blackfoot?
The Big Blackfoot is this one, right?
The one we call the Blackfoot River is has historically been referred to as the Big Blackfoot because you've got the Little Blackfoot that dumps into the Clark Fork at Garrison.
Okay.
Comes down the Avon Way and stuff. And so, historically,
There are the
Blackfoot,
distinction between them.
Two different rivers. Ironically, there's a Big Blackfoot River and a Little Blackfoot River in Idaho as well, which causes some confusion with researchers.
I see. Well, thank you so much for taking the time
you,
to be in
Joel.
the studio today. And thank you, dear viewer, for watching our presentation about the Blackfoot River Legacy event coming up September 24th, 1 to 4. And Scott, did you show him a website or something for more information? Yes, Scott showed you that. So if you forgot everything we just said, and I know I will, you could go to the website and reclaim all this information to plan that date, September 24th. So thanks for watching. On behalf of MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. We'll see you next time.